Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kazar, and welcome to the San Haroldo Zoo. God, I've been working on this zoo for about a year and a half, and it is still not done. I started day one when the game launched, and I just knew that this was going to be like my magnum opus here. I was going to spend the entirety of this game's lifespan in this zoo, and it's really because it's inspired by all of my favorite zoos, but the main template for this zoo is the San Diego Zoo. So, for those of you who are familiar with the San Diego Zoo, you're going to see a lot of things within this zoo that should very closely resemble stuff from around that zoo. But I am a Californian, so there's lots of other things in here. I'm definitely going to be putting in pieces from the San Francisco Zoo. I've got a couple from my original hometown, the Sacramento Zoo, and actually probably I would say my favorite Californian zoo. It's kind of like this. The niche underdog is the Oakland Zoo, and so there's a couple of pieces in there from that as well. Today I'm going to be showing off to you the newly finished Sun Bear Forest. Very inspired by the San Diego Zoo's Sun Bear Forest, with a twist, of course. Everything in this park is going to be inspired by something with a little of my artistic interpretation. There's a couple buildings that I wanted to build and get in there and things like that. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this. All right, and we find ourselves over here by Sun Bear Forest. And as I said before, everything in this zoo is very heavily inspired by the San Diego Zoo. That's why I was really thrilled when we got the Sun Bear and, of course, the Sun Bear sign piece here because it's very similar to the signs in real life. I was able to kind of do a slight recreation there. But as with everything in Planet Zoo, it's really, really hard to do exact recreations. So everything has got a little bit of an artistic flair to it here. Nothing's exact, as demonstrated by the fact that we've got a monorail running through the middle of Sun Bear Forest. And that's because we don't have a big old double-decker bus tour in the game, and I really wanted something functional. So across the entire right side of the park, going over what will eventually be Africa Rocks, through my version of Elephant Odyssey, and around the open savanna that I'm going to be creating soon. This monorail will kind of take you around there. But as you enter Sun Bear Forest, you actually start with a crowd favorite of the Southeast Asia pack, the Binturong. Now this enclosure here is actually inspired by an older enclosure that used to be exactly where Africa Rocks is today. Apparently we wanted to freeze there. That's fun. And so this older exhibit, I believe, used to house ground hornbills in in the exhibit. It was right along the road that used to run up, and guests would walk along. But now it houses the Binturongs, and as you can see here, they're kind of stuck in here. They don't do as much climbing as I would like, but it's a perfectly realistic enclosure, something that you'd find in real life. And if we look in the back here, we actually have this walkway we've got going on through here that they can come, and we've got these closing shutters, and we'll see these later in another backstage in Sun Bear Forest as well. But they've got these closing shutters so that the keepers can open and close this walkway if they need to separate the Binturongs or anything like that. And we've got a little backstage here. Nothing terribly special, just something to get them back here. But then they usually just get stuck back here because, Planet Zoo. But yeah, there we go. He's walking right on. Perfect timing. Thank you for that, Binturong. And back on the trail here. So, people enter through here. We've got of course, the monorail going up and over, and you get your first glimpse of probably my favorite part of Sun Bear Trail here, which in real life houses, I think, tamarins. The animals, I believe, kind of get rotated throughout. But here we actually have the Japanese macaque uh, in this exhibit, and that's mostly because in real life we've got an exhibit that's kind of a dual exhibit. On the other side, there's open air chain link, and on this side, we've got enclosed glass. And since Japanese macaques do sometimes enjoy the colder climates, I thought, oh, well, if we have an enclosed side, then we can pump cool air in there for them, just in case, so that they can be more climate controlled and better off. So I was really excited, and that was kind of my way of getting them into this park, because otherwise we probably would not be seeing them in this zoo. But as we can see here, we're coming down through and see the first portal into our Sun Bear Forest here. I got a couple of signs here. Really, this is I've got signs throughout the forest here, but these ones have information straight from the game, so I just totally stole it right from the game, even down to the maps and the pictures right from the in-game Zoopedia. But as we come forward, we see we've got kind of this lush mix of sort of an older concrete rock exhibit going on here, but they've added more modern substrate, so there's going to be more dirt in there, and there's going to be a lot more plants. And that is because the real Sun Bear Forest is actually really sparse and more, how to say, more utilitarian, more rocky. And so I really wanted to get more plants in here, make it more lively. Because actually, I was more inspired by the Sun Bear exhibit in it's the Oakland Zoo, which literally is just a pit with just plants. And you look down, and sometimes you can see the sun bears, but sometimes you can't, because they are just hidden in the bushes upon bushes upon bushes. So, ooh, is he actually going to climb this? I don't think I've ever seen them climb these structures yet. But I mean, of course, that's what happens when you play on pause. You don't really get to see them climb all that much. Nope, guess not. And so I really wanted to get something that was a little bit more easy on the eyes, naturalistic, and probably better for the bears ultimately. So yeah, and so we get done with this first corner here, and we come back around. This was something I really wanted to implement from the real forest, is that there's this winding path. It's actually really cool terrain change, because the main road is constantly sloping down. The whole of San Diego Zoo is built with this giant canyon in the middle. It's a really cool feature, but it makes it really a pain to get people from one place to another without a lot of hills. And so this gradual sort of sloping area here not only gives this cool back and forth between the macaque exhibit and the sun bears, but also makes it a lot easier to go up and down without hurting yourself and getting too tired. So we see here a closer look at the structures that are holding this up. Yeah, these structures took a long time to make. I'm just going to break the fourth wall here a little bit. I'm just going to go into the actual exhibit. As you can see here, we've got one covered and one open air. I was going to actually enclose the entire thing and put, because we have the new world sign brackets, which we're actually using to make the chain link here, because we can't have actual the in-game fences, because the bottom here, as you can see, is glass. so I wouldn't be able to put chain link on top. So I used the new game or new world fence pieces in order to make the chain link. And as I was saying, I was going to enclose the entire top there, but not only was that ugly looking because these fence pieces all would have to be on different planes and their little nubs would all be intersecting in weird ways, but also it just made it extra dark. And so it's implied that there's a net on the top and monkeys can't get out. And we've got here some information on them, kind of giving a little background about who they are, where they live, and some kind of cool artwork, as well as talking about the hot spring, which I've got bubbling over in here for them. Yeah, and we can see some guests on the other side, which I'll show you the backstage in a second. It's actually kind of funny because that backstage in real life, guests can just walk up to it. So I wanted to kind of keep that the same. But we've got the other sort of sun bear overlook here. This is the lush side, with a couple of a couple more pieces of signage. This sign on the left is actually a sign from the Sun Bear Canyon, or Sun Bear Forest, sorry, in San Diego Zoo, and just repurposed it, stretched it, made it work for our billboards. And we're gonna travel down here, and we've got a little implied exhibit here for some birds, nothing too special. And we got the bottom area here where we can see the bath. And as we travel down the last little bit here, wow, we enter into one of two gazebos that sort of house not only the pool for the sun bears, but also an overlook into the proboscis monkey exhibit. Now this was something I really, really wanted to do because we got this lovely sort of overview into this other exhibit. And I think in real life, the two gazebos in the Sun Bear Forest are both looking into, I want to say they're colobus monkeys, that they're both looking into this nice colobus monkey exhibit. But I thought that was kind of a waste because then you wouldn't get this awesome chance to see the sun bears again, because they only kind of had these tiny little portals up on the ridge there. So I thought they need to have this extra cool pocket over here. And you kind of get enclosed in this little exhibit here. We've got some more information, sort of more of the how to say this, educational side of the depravity of our animals in our parks here, because these poor bears are vulnerable because of a whole bunch of other problems that are going on in the world. They get hunted for their spleen, their what is it? The bile that's in their guts. It's like really gross. And then we've also got, of course, the palm oil, which if you haven't heard is a big problem with not only the sun bears but also the orangutans, because it causes them to just cut down all the actual forest and put up palm oil or palm trees to make palm oil. And then, of course, the Southeast Asian haze fires, which is because people are burning those trees to the old practice of slash and burn has reached a new problem because of how much it has to be done, and so it's actually causing problems for the people there as well. So we got a little education there on top of your seeing your bears and everything. And there's a lovely person looking through a rock, because why not? And we kind of travel down here and we see this we got this open viewing area of the proboscis monkeys. Made sure that there was water in there, not only because the more water you add to a monkey exhibit, the better, because they will end up actually climbing on the thing that you have put in there for them, which they are not doing right now, but, you know, Planet Zoo. But also these monkeys are great swimmers, and they'll actually jump off of their trees and dive into the rivers of their homeland. So I wanted to make sure that they had plenty of opportunity to swim. Got a little bit blurb here about their family structures and how they grow and raise their young. We've got these lovely support structures. I'm going to put a thank you to everybody who, because I got this one off of the workshop. I'm going to put a thank you to everybody who has supplied some awesome stuff for this build here, because this was taken from a really awesome tiger exhibit that I modified in order to make this this exhibit work. And as we can see here, we've got a great view. There's a little peek at the backstage there, sort of the backstage cage there. A couple of the portals that lead to the backstage as well. As you can see, the monkeys there too. And got this lovely little blurb here about deforestation. And then we head out, and we are out with another sign, the Sun Bear, and out by the panda shop, which we will probably go over again in a different video, because the other side of the panda shop is of course the panda exhibit, which is not yet finished, but again is heavily inspired by the San Diego Zoo. And as you can see, Africa Rocks is Africa gone. It has not been built yet, so pardon my dust, but you'll see we've got the backstage here for the proboscis monkeys. If we go in here, you can actually see, again, sort of this overhead with these shutters here so that they can move the monkeys in and out and keep them backstage if need be, like if someone is like if someone's taking care of their kids and they want to, you know, birth them and raise them in peace, or if they need to separate one of the adult males because they're becoming too aggressive, they can do that as well in this backstage area. And we've got some nice pump action here to go for all the water in the waterfall that's just out here. And if we come back out here, we can go up here. We've got a backup generator for this whole area. Oh, actually, sorry, that's not a backup generator. What am I talking about? That's the HVAC system. So instead of putting it on the roof, put it on the side here, and runs into the whole backstage area for the sun bear. And as you can see, they don't like to stay in their cage. So of course, in order to make this whole thing work, in theory, we've got some of the climbing structure here that's buried, and it's going through to their backstage housing here, which we can use again to separate, because the bears don't usually spend every single day with each other. They tend to be pretty solitary, and especially when mama's with her cub, which hopefully will happen soon. Then you can put mama and cub back here, and dad can have Rain out here, and then you can swap them as well to make sure that that everyone is keeping kosher with each other. And we did not see, oh sorry, giving you guys some motion sickness there. We did not see the other side of the Japanese macaque exhibit, which I just love this view because it's just peeking out of the trees along the way down, and it's just kind of mysterious, and you go, oh, what is that? I've got to get in there. And this is kind of how the backstage is in the rail park. They've got more of a building back here, but it's just pretty accessible. Anybody can walk up into it, and that's what our guests here do. So that is the Sun Bear Forest, folks. Just want to thank you. Oh, apparently somebody's angry. Shocker. I just want to thank you guys for joining me on this trip through the Sun Bear Forest. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please leave a comment, hit the like button. Let me know what you'd like to see next. I'm going to probably do a couple different tours of different sections that I've completed at the park. It has been over a year of building it, so I've got quite a few things done. But I also want to show off some new things that are being built as well. So, like I said, comment, like, and I will see you guys on the next one.